It's my pleasure to welcome you to Unity Center here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We warmly welcome all people, all faiths, and all lifestyles. Today we stand upon the unceded territories of the Musqueam Nation, noble guardians of these lands since time immemorial. And it's here that we work, live, and learn and deepen our connection to Spirit together. If you're joining us on Zoom or YouTube or Facebook, welcome. Welcome to Unity Vancouver. This is happening live right now in Vancouver on 42nd and Oak. So take a moment and stay, check it out. And if you like it, come on down on a Sunday and join us and enjoy great music like you just heard from Tom Arnson live, as well as inspiration, frog in the throat, inspiration coming directly through human connection as opposed to always across the computer. There is a difference, and we celebrate it here at Unity of Vancouver. So our mission, in case you're wondering, here at Unity Vancouver is very simple and very straightforward: to build personal and community well-being through universal spiritual teachings and practices. So let's begin. Please now join me in our opening invocation. All together now, there is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And now please, those of you that are here in person, rise and join us in singing this morning's group song.
I know you know the words. Let's put them up there and see what happens. Oh, look out. Oh, no. Here we go. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. Now the brothers. I got all my brothers with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk all right, and we flock just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. Now look at somebody, and we are family. Look at each other. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Now look at somebody else. We are family. Look around you. I got all my brothers with me. Come on now. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delights. High hopes we have for the future and our goals inside. No, we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. Singing, we are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. All right, clap your hands. We are family. I got all my brothers. I got all me. Come on now. We are family. Come on. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. Look at the sisters. I got all my sisters with me. Sing it now. We are family. Nobody got hurt, right?
Nobody got hurt. No families were harmed during the filming of this song. And the daily word for today is a big one. Believe. I trust that my belief and my unbelief are enough. When Thomas says he can't believe in Jesus' resurrection unless he touches the wounds for himself, he is describing those moments when God's infinite, eternal goodness seems too hard to believe. Jesus' response is instructive. He doesn't criticize Thomas's doubt or demand blind faith. Instead, he offers exactly what Thomas needs, inviting him to touch the wounds and see for himself. Jesus meets him where he is, then invites him into a deeper way of believing, one that can trust in unseen blessings. The invitation is open to me too. Whether my belief is steady and confident, or I long for reassurance and signs of divine presence, I trust I am divinely supported and dearly loved. Jesus said to Thomas, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet come to believe." We're pleased today to welcome back Reverend Hannelore to share with us the mysterious dance between free will, surrender, destiny, and divine guidance. Now, let's open ourselves to receive what we need most from today's message by beginning with 5 powerful affirmations. Altogether, my life unfolds with purpose and grace. I welcome the life that is seeking expression through me. I choose faith and surrender with trust. I am willing to be guided by divine wisdom. I trust that each step reveals the next. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. It's my pleasure to today welcome and introduce today's speaker, Reverend Hannelore. Hannelore is a gifted storyteller. She seems to have no end of interesting stories to share. She's a published author, and her passion lies in sharing true life stories woven with intuitive wisdom and spiritual insight. Her parables offer a fresh perspective on healing, hope, and the miracles present in daily life. These stories allow for an awakening of intuition and alignment with purpose and the ability to live with greater joy and clarity. Please join me in giving a big unity welcome to Reverend Hannelore.
Good morning. Thank you for being here on a long weekend. It's always a weekend I choose to stay at home rather than go out, so it's wonderful to be here. And I'm going to begin with taking us all through a meditation. So this is a time for you just to be able to relax, to let go, and just to connect and breathe into your body. I invite you to close your eyes if you choose. We're going to explore the power of will together. So I'd like you to close your eyes again, take a nice deep breath, feel your feet securely on the floor below you. And take another breath in and exhale slowly. So for these next few moments, there's nowhere you need to be or go, nothing you need to accomplish, nothing you need to solve, but just simply to be here now. Now I'd like you to imagine you are standing at the beginning of a beautiful path. There is no map. There's no particular destination. Just a quiet invitation to begin walking. So take a few gentle steps. And with every step, allow your mind to become quieter. Allow your heart to be more open. For ahead, not too many steps further on this path, you will see a beautiful doorway. There are no words written on it. There is nothing to indicate what lies beyond. And yet, you somehow know that this doorway has always belonged to you. Now, when you're ready, gently open the door and step inside. For you've entered a room that feels strangely familiar. And perhaps you've been here before. Perhaps you've simply forgotten. Notice now what you become aware of as you look around you. Notice the colors, the light, the feeling that you might have. Nothing to force, nothing to intentionally imagine, just simply allow. And notice whatever comes up for you. Now, in the center of this room, there is a comfortable chair that feels very inviting. And you walk toward it. And you sit down. And across from you, someone now appears. Could be someone that's older, wiser, and it's a version of yourself. It may be your soul. It may simply be a divine presence appearing in whatever form that feels right for you. There are no expectations, only love and acceptance. And just allow yourself to sit in this space for a few moments. No words are needed. Just presence. Now, perhaps there may be a question that seems to arise within you. Not from your thinking mind, but from your heart. You may silently ask, what is life inviting me to become? Or perhaps, what is my next faithful step? Or simply, what is my heart song asking of me. Now listen, not for a sentence, not for an answer that you can explain. Perhaps it may be a feeling, a memory, or it could be a single word, or simply a deep sense of peace. And trust whatever comes. Notice that there's something beautiful. For life is rarely asking you for your next 100 steps. Often it simply whispers, take one more. Maybe a conversation, one act of kindness, one courageous decision, one loving breath. And now notice the room around you begins filling with a warm golden light. Not outside of you, but from within you as it expands. For it's always been here. For perhaps this is what spiritual will might feel like. Not pushing, not forcing, simply allowing the deepest truth of who you are to shine a little more brightly. And now take another slow, deep breath in, allowing gratitude to gently fill your heart. Gratitude for your journey, for every twist and every unexpected detour, every beginning, and every new possibility still waiting to unfold. And as you prepare to return, know that this room, this quiet place within, is never far away. You can return here whenever you choose, with one breath and one willing heart are all that is required. So take another deep breath in, and if you can, wiggle your toes. Move your fingers. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, bringing this quiet awareness back with you.
Remember those walls I built? Well, now they're tumbling down, and they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had, you're breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I I'm surrounded by your embrace. Spirit, I can see your halo. I know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Spirit, I can feel your halo. I pray it won't fade away. Halo, halo, halo. I can see your halo, halo. Ooh. Hit me like a ray of sun, burning through my darkest night. You're the only one that I want. I think I'm addicted to your light. I swore I'd never fall again, but this don't even feel like falling. Gravity can't forget to pull me back to the ground again. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Spirit, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Spirit, I can feel your halo. I pray it won't fade away. I can see your halo, yeah, your halo. Ooh. Halo, halo, halo. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Spirit, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Spirit, I can see your halo. I pray it won't fade away. Your halo, halo. I can see your halo. I can see your halo. Ooh. Halo. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I love that version. Thank you. So, as I was preparing this talk on will, I thought it'd be interesting to start with taking you on a little imagination journey. So, I want you to imagine that there is a rowboat that's 5 foot wide, perhaps 21 feet long. There's no motor, there's no cabin. There's simply 2 oars for you to row this boat. Now, imagine that you are completely alone. You're leaving the coast of California, and you're going to row to Hawaii. Yeah? Takes determination. So sometimes 16 and even 23 hours a day you row. Your muscles ache. Your hands blister. Sometimes the ocean is calm and it's peaceful. And other times there's 12-foot swells and a current that keeps trying to push you back. There are times when it's completely dark at night and you see nothing but darkness, including the darkness of the ocean below you. Sometimes there's sharks that appear beside your boat, but you keep rowing. Flying fish suddenly come and fly and land in your boat that you keep throwing back out into the water. And occasionally, a pod of dolphins come by just to say hello and let you know that you're not completely alone. Then there are the most spectacular sunrises and sunsets that you could ever imagine. There you are as the earth curves and you see the sunrise above, or the sun setting, or the nights that are so clear and the stars are so brilliant that it feels like you're rowing in the middle of the Milky Way. What kind of will does that take to keep rowing? After days and weeks, perhaps it's determination. Maybe something begins to align with your breathing and you find a rhythm with your body, your heart. It all finds a rhythm. And you discover you're not conquering the ocean. Rather, you're entering into a relationship with it. For it's not simply solitude. Perhaps it's communion. Your will hasn't disappeared. It's become aligned with something immeasurably larger than yourself. So this past month, I came across a YouTube and a young woman by the name of Kelsey Fendler. Has anyone else followed her? On her own, she went to set a record for the youngest and also female to cross over 2,400 nautical miles by herself with no assistance. And she left Monterey, California. When she left, it was that first week that was one of the hardest because the water is very rough there and the currents kept pushing her back and the winds kept pushing her back. She had to row 23 hours every day for 7 days just to keep in a single spot until she could finally move forward. She actually arrived in Honolulu on July the 3rd. I wish I could have been there to greet her because it was just so much fun following her almost every day to see what was happening with her, watching her being, harnessed to the boat as she had to dive into the ocean and scrape the barnacles off her boat because a slow-moving vessel, barnacles would start appearing. And what was really touching was when there was a U.S. Coast Guard that came by not far from her, and they were radioing each other and waving, and everyone aboard started singing happy birthday to her because it was her 31st birthday. One of her challenges was when she arrived, she thought maybe some family members and a few friends would be there, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people to greet her. It was so incredible. It took her 43 days, 17 hours, and 55 minutes. Can you imagine? That dedication. It's not in my to-do list, but I was just amazed at her determination and, her will. One of the many things that she shared was, the fear that she might have experienced, how she created her water from seawater, the different ways she prepared her meals. I just kept wondering how one could keep on rowing when you're totally exhausted, frightened, as much as I've spent many, many days and hours and years swimming in the ocean. Don't know that I'd have the courage being in a tiny little rowboat in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere, no land in sight. So she was resilient with an unwavering will. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore never saw will as simply determination, as trying harder. They saw it as one of the 12 spiritual powers. And that's the divine capacity to choose and direct and align ourselves with spirit. And perhaps that's what spiritual will is. Spiritual will may also be knowing when to stop rowing and to watch the sun disappear, or the ocean, to marvel at the sky. And sometimes the greatest gifts arrive when we no longer try to make anything happen and simply to be in that space. So Kelsey's goal was to inspire women around the world, and she did that. And to recognize and embrace their strength, and to raise funds for the Whale Foundation, which was a nonprofit close to her heart. So will is not the force that makes us push harder. It's the quiet decision to take one more faithful stroke. Courageous will touches many. Perhaps not rowing 2,400 nautical miles, but for many of us, it may be dealing with cancer or having a will to live or getting through grief. It may be going through a broken marriage, learning forgiveness, to experience loss of loved ones, maybe recovering from an accident, or it may be going through the process of writing a book. It's finding purpose. Nobody does any of these things in one heroic leap. We simply ask ourselves, can I take one more stroke? Well, following Kelsey, I had this quirky thing that went on in my mind sometimes. It was the row, row, row your boat. And it was playing inside my head, and then I had to laugh at myself because, of course, how could it not find its way into my talk on will? Most of us learned this as children. And as I looked at this song through the lens of my talk, the words, row, row, row your boat, there is will. No one else rows your boat. Gently, not forcefully, not desperately, not by fighting every current, down the stream. Notice it doesn't say against the stream, for there's a beautiful balance between effort and allowing. Merrily, not because a journey is always easy, but because the spirit with which we travel matters. Then comes the line that most people miss, and we've heard it hundreds of times, and that's, life is but a dream. So this talk asks, how do we choose to travel through the dream while we're here? Suddenly this simple nursery rhyme becomes a tiny Zen teaching. Who knew our first lesson on will came when we were around 5 years old? So have you ever noticed that there are things that you make yourself do? Perhaps it's to exercise, deal with your taxes, cleaning the garage. Then there are things you want to do: travel, learn, create. Then there are those rare moments when you notice there's something inside you that says, I don't know why, but I have to. Those are the moments that change your life. Will may get us to the destination, but presence allows us to receive the journey. So to me, following Kelsey, she became a living metaphor for will. And perhaps every one of us might experience moments like that. Mind you, not necessarily rowing across the ocean, but feeling something inside quietly saying, keep rowing. So in some of my previous talks, you may have heard me share parts of my own personal life experiences. And today, what I'm going to share is how I revisited that through a different lens. What does will look like when we look back at our life? So reviewing my life, I can, in the context of the topic of will, I now see that there were several different kinds of expressions of will. At first, there was the ego will, and that was my career, my success, and being in control. And for many years, I thought will meant being determined and deciding what I wanted. I was at a time in my life when I had everything I wanted, or seemingly so. I had a successful career in the film industry. I owned my own business, traveled a great deal. I met many high-profile celebrities, and I enjoyed financial freedom. But I thought I was living my passion, but that was no longer so. I couldn't shake the feeling or sense of something that was very important that was missing in my life. But I didn't know what that something was. It was so frustrating. For my soul's will kept expressing itself. I kept feeling there was something more. I'd have that ache inside of me, that longing. Every so often, I kept asking myself, if I was to die today, what have I contributed to this planet? Something inside me knew there was something and another life waiting. And I kept asking, what am I meant to do? I found myself no longer loving what I did, what I once loved. And the longer I ignored it, the unhappier I became. So I'm going to ask you, have you ever had that question in your life when you've noticed something is not quite fulfilling you, something's missing, there's something more? So what I did, I just kept myself busier. Anyone sound familiar with that? And so my life was very busy. Then, one day I stayed at a lakeside cabin after one of my business trips. And I just found myself begging God, please, please tell me, what is it that's missing in my life? What am I meant to do? And at first, I just got nothing. And eventually, I surrendered. Then I heard a whisper, "Go for a walk." So I have learned not to underestimate little whispers. So I went for a walk to my favorite little seaside town. And while there, I was guided into a narrow alleyway, which I'd never noticed before. And I was surprised that I had never seen it before. And I heard another whisper, "Go explore." And so I did. And I came across a little shop, quaint little gift shop, which had a sign outside the door that said, "Gifts, crystals, books." And at the very bottom it said, "Readings." And I thought, well, I'll just go and have a reading, find out what's missing in my life. Now, that decision changed my life forever. Because as fate would have it, the reader that was not expected to be back happened to walk into the store at that moment and gave me the most profound reading. I was so fascinated, and I asked her if she taught this information, which she did. And I spent the next several years learning about intuition and went into very many other spiritual studies, one of which was at the New Seminary, where I studied comparative religions and dimensions of psychology. Now, what I noticed is that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Charles Fillmore often described will as the faculty that enables us to choose, to direct our energies, to act deliberately. But I wonder, what if mature will isn't forcing life? What if it's learning to cooperate with the deepest calling of the soul? And from that day forward, my life unfolded in ways I could never have planned. Now, looking back, I still don't know whether I found the bookstore or whether the bookstore found me. But what defies logical explanation is that, according to my teacher, she said readings was never on that sign. So destiny led me to my spiritual journey by opening that part of me that was dormant. So even though I downsized my company, I did not have the courage to close the door on that chapter. Yet the more I focused on my spiritual teachings and path, the more my company kept pulling me back. Spirit seemed to be saying, "It's time." I kept saying, "Not quite yet." But sometimes life whispers, sometimes it nudges, and sometimes life uses a truck. Saying that was a jolt of awakening is an understatement. For seemingly out of nowhere, a 2-ton truck ran a red light and smashed into my driver's side of my car, which caused me to have a very severe head injury. I couldn't retain all the information I needed to run my company, so I had no choice. I had to let it go. And I lost my business, I lost my home, but life was carefully rebuilding. And I couldn't decide whether it was a twisted form of human will or a drastic form of surrender. At first I asked, why did this happen to me? And in hindsight, I realized I was not living my intended purpose. So perhaps God's will took over. So before the accident, when I spoke from my head. After the accident, I discovered that I speak from my heart. And I found my spiritual voice. and my soul's journey kept unfolding. So this new important chapter kept aligning in my life, and it led me to so many different experiences, meeting so many different people in my life. And it also led me to Hawaii, where I had my first experience swimming with wild dolphins. And so many more things unfolded, the most amazing spiritual leaders, people that were incredible artists, people that were amazing speakers, that all somehow kept unfolding before me as I created my own Communing with Dolphins retreats. Now, I have been doing that for the past 25 years. Never could I have imagined that before in my life. But as time keeps changing, I notice a new path is beginning for me now again, and that is that I continue writing my books. So our lives keep changing as we go through, and it's about listening to the whisper, listening to the nudges, listening to the inspirations that make a difference in our life. And noticing when we're afraid. So none of those could have begun with my thinking mind, because my soul's will began to embrace the unknown longing that I had experienced. And finally, the divine will. And in each stage of my life, my will evolved. So again, it began as ambition, became a longing, then surrender, then courage, then service, and finally, trust. That is the power of will. So I wonder, when does our deepest will become so aligned with life itself that they're no longer separate? When I look at different examples in people's lives and different examples of will, I remembered a wonderful moment in a Harry Potter film, and that's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, when Harry's friend Ron was so terrified and he had to play a Quidditch match. And he didn't have the confidence that he could win. So Harry told him he had actually given him that in his drink there was the magic potion called liquid luck. And Ron thought he had drunk this magic potion and nothing was going to stop him. And he won the match. And he was so excited and it was so successful, only to find out later that that potion was never in his drink. It was the confidence that he had in himself, that he had lacked, but that the drink and the knowing would give him that confidence and will to win. So sometimes God doesn't change our circumstances. Sometimes God simply whispers, you already have what you need. You know, on a lighter note, when I was searching different information on will, I came across the last will and testament. And there's actually a true story that in Toronto in the late 20s, a very wealthy lawyer had created a will. He had no family or friends to leave his fortune to, so he was a bit of a trickster, so he decided to put in his will that the first woman from Toronto that would birth the most amount of babies in a decade after his passing would inherit a good portion of his money. So that created a bit of chaos at that time, and it was known as the Great Stork Derby. And actually 2 women ended up winning. They were tying, both women, both birthed 9 babies. Just crazy, I can't imagine how many babies were born in that year. So we've looked at courageous will. We've looked at searching will. We've looked at the will that keeps on rowing. and the will that keeps on listening. But perhaps the purest expression of spiritual will that I've ever witnessed came from a little boy called Matty Stepanek. Have any of you heard of this young boy? Going back quite a number of years. What a brilliant little fellow. He had a rare form of muscular dystrophy. 3 of his siblings had already passed, and they already died of the same disease, and he knew his life would be very short. But what was so incredible was at the age of 3, he was already writing poetry. Now, his mother did the writing, but he would dictate it to her. And he showed us what it looks like to become what a soul came here to be. It was not about, I will make something happen. Rather, I am willing to become the person through whom something greater can happen. So to me, this is the deepest form of will. I've often thought of this young boy as I reflected on his subject of will. He was once interviewed by Oprah, and then Oprah said of him, I believe Maddie is a prophet for our time who just happens to be dressed in little boys' clothing. I smile when I remember his response as he was being interviewed, how he felt about going on his first ever plane ride. And he was so excited at sharing about these clouds because it was like flying through fluffy white marshmallows. He was just such a brilliant little boy. He was only 11 years old when he wrote, "We are a mosaic of gifts, and each of us has our inner beauty, no matter how we look at the outside." He was already writing poetry at such a young age, and then in September 11th, 2001, he knew, before and after, he knew many of the firemen that had lost their lives, and he grieved them deeply. Yet his response wasn't revenge or hatred. It strengthened his commitment to becoming what he called a peacemaker, for that was his goal. He was truly an ancient master. He was so brilliant. And he wrote, "A champion is not someone who comes home with trophies. A champion is one who has the strength within." So despite his immense suffering, he carried on and wrote 7 different books. And he was determined to help all of us, everyone, to discover their heart songs. For he says, every person has a heart song within, and it's your inner beauty, your message, and what you are meant to do in this life. He actually believed that he survived longer because he still had another heart song to sing. Sadly, he passed away at only 13 years old. So what Maddie calls a heart song, I often called the ache in my heart that something was missing. Now, I wonder if there are simply 2 different names for the same thing. And in one of Myrtle Fillmore's writing, in her letters, she mentioned, "I know that it is God in the midst of you doing his perfect work who is responsible for the good." And perhaps that's what will really is. So my question to you is, what is your heart song asking of you? And are you willing to follow it? For Will says, "I willingly align myself with something greater." Jesus, while in Gethsemane, may be the ultimate example when he stated, "Not my will, but yours." And that wasn't weakness. That may have been the greatest expression of spiritual will imaginable. So when I look back at my life, I'm totally amazed at how my will has played out through the different experiences. And perhaps God's will isn't about controlling our lives. Just maybe it's quietly calling us forward to the fullest expression of who we already are. Stroke by stroke, choice by choice, room by room, until we discover we haven't become someone else. We have become ourselves. The self that God always knew we could become.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming. But there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaken, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, it ain't about what's waiting on the other side. No, no, it's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on. There's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. There's always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. No, it's the climb. I gotta keep on moving, gonna keep on climbing. Yeah, it's the climb. I'm gonna keep my faith, I'm gonna keep on climbing. Always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. No, it's the climb. Yeah, it's the climb. faith. Yeah, it's the climb. It's the climb.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. But the talk today and the song choice, and by the way, a lot of times when you hear these songs, they seem to match the talk. And I want to shout out to Tom, because Tom looks at the description of the talk and he picks the song most times. So let's, one more time for Tom. And it's surprising how much thought can go into picking a song to go with the talk. So I am very grateful that we have such wonderful and committed people here at Unity. And I was reminded also of this saying that I used to somewhat live by. And I'll share it with you because I think it does fit the talk and the whole morning. And the saying goes, "Good timber does not grow with ease. The stronger the wind, the stronger the trees." And so whenever things seem like they're going a little bit tough, you just remember, hey, the climb. So one more time for just the morning, please. And wow, I sure got a lot of applause going here at the end of the talk, hey? I'm just thinking, I will not ask again, I promise. Coming up right here at Unity, we want you to mark the date for Sunday, August the 23rd. Why? Because it's our annual picnic. Following the service at 1:30 p.m., we'll gather for an afternoon of good food, laughter, and community at Maple Grove Park, located at 6875 U Street, Vancouver. Please bring a dish to share, a lawn chair, and any lawn games you'd like to enjoy with others. Whether you're reconnecting with familiar faces or meeting someone new, it's a wonderful opportunity to relax, celebrate summer, and spend time together as a community. We look forward to seeing you all there. As well, our Course in Miracles group, which we mention every week, continues to meet every Tuesday from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. on the lower level. You'll learn along like-hearted individuals as you expand through what I really believe is a very profound spiritual technology, spiritual psychology. You'll learn to expand your awareness of how you are living in life. All are welcome, and your presence enriches the circle. Our reflective roundtables is on break, so will not be happening today. Just a heads up in case anybody was headed down for that. Instead, you can always sit at one of the regular roundtables. And those of us who don't always make it on time for reflective roundtables often find our regular roundtables are pretty good too. One of the things that makes Unity special is the opportunity to actually connect live with new people after the service. Those moments of conversation, coffee, and community are made possible by our hospitality team, who thoughtfully prepare the space before the service and care for it afterwards. We're deeply grateful for their generosity and service. As our community continues to enjoy this time together, we're looking to add a few additional volunteers to the hospitality team. If you'd like to serve in this meaningful way, volunteer information and sign-up forms are available at the front desk, and Fern will be up there and happy to answer any questions you may have, and would love to have you sign up. We'd be delighted to welcome you to the team. Today's affirmative prayer chaplains are the wonderful Melba Burns, and of course, Jennifer Solly, Barb Richards. And you know what? It just seems wrong that I said wonderful before Melba when everybody's wonderful. So all these wonderful prayer chaplains, including Melba Burns, Jennifer Solly, Barb Richards, and on Zoom, Marilyn Norrie. Would you please stand just so everyone can see you? Thank you. So if you'd like to receive a confidential prayer, these chaplains will be waiting for you at the front after the music ends at the end of the service. They've been trained to hold space and use literally the most well thought out prayer process. At Unity, they actually have an executive in charge of staying on top of all the latest research in regards to prayer. And this does ripple down through and into our prayer chaplaincy. So they're good at what they do. And so if you're in a low point in your life and you're having trouble finding your belief or finding your faith, that's what they're here for. They'll hold space with you and literally transmit some of that to you and join with you in transmitting it to the universe itself. So if you'd like to receive a confidential prayer, everything's in strict confidence. Chaplains are up front here after the music. Join us downstairs after the music, of course, for coffee, cookies, and conversation, or at a round table. And next Sunday, we'll be welcoming Brock Tully to Unity to share how spiritual principles of oneness, kindness, and compassion can restore hope, belonging, and wholeness to entire communities. Watch our website for all the details and how to tune in online if you can't make it in person next week. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, please stand and let us together say our prayer for protection. All together now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now just remain standing for our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment in Him, each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
If you are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We send you our love and look forward to seeing you next week. If you're on Zoom and want to pray confidentially with a chaplain in a private room, please accept your breakout invitation, which will pop up on your screen shortly. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week, and God bless.